Something I've taught my kids since they were little is if you're tired of not being invited to other people's things, create your own things and invite who you want to be there and then lead that room. This is the story of my life. So like I have to have all my own dinner parties and bring in the masses because we don't get invited to a lot of things. It's really kind of interesting. So I just curate the room and I create the environment that I want. And then I'm perceived as the leader because I'm putting the people together. So you get groups of people together. You host breakfasts. You get people together to talk about things. Zig Ziglar led a Sunday school class. Mary Kay Ash led a Sunday school class. I mean, you have to lead yourself first and then lead the people you're with and curate those rooms. Stop waiting to get invited. There is no Oprah. There is no Simon Cowell. There is no anybody that's going to poof and you have authority and are famous. Like it really doesn't work that way. There are a few cases of that, but those are mostly engineered and for television. The truth is, you change yourself first, lead yourself well, lead the rooms that you're in, then put yourself in other rooms. That's another reason you pay to be part of masterminds or you pay to be part of networking groups because you need to be with other big thinkers, leaders, and dreamers and doers. It's just really smart way to do business. I said yes to almost every ask for about a year and a half when I was establishing that brand in 2007. That brand was called the Barefoot Executive. That was my first book. I said yes to almost everything. I did not say, how big is your audience? I did not say, how many downloads do you get? I mean, that wasn't even a thing really at that point. I said yes to everything. And as a result, and that was even before mainstream social media. So as a result, I kind of started showing up everywhere and my voice was in people's heads. And so I became an established voice in their head. They also got to observe my speaking style, my humor, and my sass because of all these interviews that I was doing. And then that spirals, it's the snowball, right? But spiraled into other things, other speaking engagements, other podcasts. You have to be seen and heard, even if you're not stepping foot on an actual stage. So if nobody knows who you are, if nobody knows what you do, this is very important. Write this down in all capital letters. It's your own fault. Because we are at an all-time ease in society right now for getting seen and getting heard and promoting our message. People are dying for good podcast guests. They are clamoring for good podcast guests. Reach out and ask. Yes, you're going to get told no sometimes. Aren't you glad every date didn't work out that you thought would be a good fit? Yes, you're going to get told no sometimes, and that's okay. Keep moving. Now, after that year and a half, I couldn't keep up with demand. I couldn't say yes to everything. And so I did have to start scaling back and have some criteria just because of time in the day. But when you are in saturation, it's radical strategic visibility is what it is. You can make your own dang self famous. And we've seen that with YouTube and we've seen that with Spotify and we've seen that. And you don't have to be a mega person. The people with the mid-size audiences are actually probably your best bet. You don't need Lewis Howes. You don't need Rachel Hollis. You don't need, and you know what? I would say be careful about big brands anyway, because they do one wrong thing and they're canceled and you're on their show forever. Saying mega audiences can be a lightning rod. They're not always positive magnets. Sometimes it can be really dangerous. So just be careful. I love mom bloggers. I love all the startup podcasts, the enthusiastic people with rabid audiences. They're going to promote you way more than some of these big names. You always follow up like one step beyond what you feel like is comfortable. And it's not about you pestering them. It's about you keeping your word. And I know Harris has heard me say this a lot. You have to reframe follow-up in your mind and you say, hey, Harris, it's follow-up Friday in my office. And so I just wanted to circle back with you on the open proposal that we had. I know you were talking about making a decision on Thursday. Now, if I can't say that, it means what? It means I didn't do my job on finding out when they were making a decision. That's part of the conversation. When are you planning to make a decision? Because you can't just have an open calendar. Like anybody that proposes to anybody for marriage doesn't just say, hey, get back to me, let me know. No, they're kind of on their knee and like waiting for the decision right then so you can make some plans for life. So I would say, when are you making that decision? So I'm just following up with you, Harris, like I said that I would. Because what does that put me in? Am I pestering or am I integrity? So following up with you, like I said that I would, planning on making a decision on this. Let me know if something has changed. I look forward to hearing from you. If you don't hear back from them within the next week or so, this is also why I have Follow-Up Friday, because I always have something to blame it on. Say, hey, Harris, it's Carrie. I'm Follow up Friday again. It seems like I just left you a message. Listen, I'm preparing to close the file on this. Feels like maybe you guys have gone a different direction since I haven't heard from you. Totally fine. I just wanted to free up the date. If I don't hear from you by Monday, I'm going to put this in my 6-month follow-up folder and we'll just touch base later. Took it away, but also freed up the day on my calendar.
Yes.
Like I'm not just hanging out waiting for a date. I'm not standing around the wall of the gym hoping somebody's going to ask me out. Nope. Other people in line. So you take it away. Guess what? Most of them are like, oh, has that been a week since she called me already? Guys, they're as busy as you are. They're not sitting around waiting, trying to keep speakers on hooks. They're just not. They're busy. But you tie it to integrity. You are not pestering because you're serving, right? The close the file every single time. It's I'm going to close the file on this. And then if you don't hear back from them by the day you said, then guess what? On Monday, you close the file and then you put it in your calendar in 6 months to follow up with them. 6 months later, you pop in and you say, hey friend, this is Carrie Wilkerson. It's been 6 months since we chatted and I wanted to keep my word to you because integrity matters to me. I know life flies super fast. We wanted to chat about what's coming up next for you and how I can serve. Last time didn't feel like it was a fit. This time I'm confident we can figure something out. When's the best time? If I don't hear from you, you know how I roll. I'm going to ping you back on Friday. It's an open loop. I did that with some clients for 18 months. And then when he introduced me on stage, he said, today I've asked Carrie to do a breakout. Like we did an extra session at lunch. I've asked Carrie to do a breakout on follow-up because I've never met anyone in my life that followed up with such integrity and consistency. And it means that she can be trusted.